Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday with your favorite heavy bag boxing team. I'm your host, Robert Alexander. Along with me tonight, we have Lucas Biggers, the captain. We have Shakira Armstrong, our first lady. We have James with us today. And then a few others on the team possibly will be joining us here in a little bit later. Guys, how was your weekend? It was a nice weekend this weekend.
Boxing definitely made me feel better. I'll tell you that.
So let's
And made me feel worse too, though. I got to take that back fully. But Berchelt Valdez was awesome, and then Broner done messed up everything cool that they did.
So starting out then for this weekend. So of course we had two different shows, well, a couple different shows. The main headliners, the main ones being Berchelt versus Valdez, which we'll get to in a minute. But the first topic at hand, which will probably get pretty controversial here. So let's start it out, the show off right tonight. But you have Adrian Broner, who came back on Showtime. It's his first fight in a couple of years, actually, Lucas. It's been a couple of years. He actually lost his last four fights prior to this one. So why is everybody mad at Broner?
I mean, I guess
Not bad.
I guess it's not his fault. No, it's everybody else. I guess we're mad at, but we're mad at Broner because he should look better. I don't care. You can say he's got 2 years off, all that. I don't give a shit. He should look better against his opponent, and he definitely did not. I mean, he basically proved us all right. We were all doubting how he was going to look, and everybody's like, man, he's been looking good, and yeah, I mean, it made me feel bad that I was right in this instance.
So Lucas, the man did come off with 2 years. There's rust already.
I
He
understand
lost
that.
his last four fights.
I
He's not
understand
going to
that,
look good
but he
coming
did
back.
not come back against an elite fighter. He ain't come back for a title shot or nothing, man. He should be looking better against that level of opposition that has not seen very much experience. Bronner's way more experienced, okay? This guy was way too green to be hanging in there like he should, let alone he won, in my opinion. It shouldn't have happened, Robin. You damn well know he did not look good.
Wait, Lucas, come on now. This is what is really upsetting me about that whole fight. Basically, we have a guy like Santiago that did a hell of a performance. And all we're talking about is the judges and Broner and his performance and Broner this and Broner that. And it's like, maybe this guy, I mean, he was undefeated. So maybe this guy is a better fighter than people are giving him credit for. Like, I'm very interested in seeing Santiago in a different fight, to be honest with you. As a matter of fact, there would be a situation where I wouldn't even mind seeing those two fight again in like a rematch, because a lot of people are not happy with the decision in that fight. I personally saw that it was going to be close. I saw that it was like the beginning rounds were more for Santiago. Then, Broner finally snapped out of the stage of all of that rust, in the seventh to me, and turned it on for the rest of the fight. But then Santiago definitely won some rounds, or could have been seen as to win some of those rounds even. So, like, I feel like we're not giving this new kid enough credit. He could be, given some fluff boxers and padded his record, or he could actually have fought good, and now he demonstrated to me that he has some level of boxing skills and understanding of boxing. Mm. So I don't think that we should be like downplaying Santiago that much, but we can also at the same time we can emphasize that Broner we thought was going to look better, or Broner could have warmed up a little bit more. I mean, in the post interview, he even admitted that he didn't even warm up that much before getting into the ring. That's a big mistake to me. I like to see my boxers that, back in the back, in the waiting room or the dressing room or locker room, having that little sweat on them where I know that they done engaged in some type of warm up for us fans. so you're not coming out there, dead cold. So these are some of the things that we expect from a professional to know to do this. So Broner does have some things that he can work on, Rob. But I don't think it's as outrageous that he won as it was outrageous as that card was. Those judges' cards were just ridiculous. But I'm not saying that it wasn't close enough that Broner could have been up one. Or the point that they took away from Santiago, that factored in. Or when Santiago got hurt, you got some judges that might have seen it as a 10-8 round and not a 10-9 round. There's many... basically what I'm saying is that fight had a lot going on in it. So I'm not as mad at Broner winning as I am at the judges' cards being so ridiculous. Like that was my point on the whole fight to me. But I'm not gonna take away the fact that Santiago looked pretty damn decent against Broner.
Santiago did look good. And he landed some hella punches to the body. I mean, amazing. He did amazing body work on Broner. But I still think that Broner did not look good. Now, in no way am I saying that Santiago didn't look good as well. It's hard to measure because we all know that that's not... I mean, Broner keeps decreasing. Am I right? Every time we see him, he seems less and less of himself. And with a guy with experience like Santiago, Broner should have been able to at least make it more definitive, is basically what I'm saying. Because Santiago, yes, he definitely still could be the boxer that he showed, and the fighter that he showed, but that doesn't mean that he should be able to hang in there yet. So, but we don't know. We don't know, like I said, his opposition and stuff, but I don't think that he had anywhere near, a Broner level type guy. So, yeah.
Well, he came in at one.
Go ahead.
Sorry, he came in at 147, and I really don't think that's a good weight for him.
No, I mean, he's even a 140 fighter, right? He had to come up because solid. Broner can't make the weight.
Solid 140. 147, he seems just a little too bulky and a little slow, and I don't know. I just didn't feel good the moment I saw him at that weight. He's just not the same Broner. Yeah. So a little bit slower, a little bit, less footwork, less speed. Seems like he's just carrying too much weight.
Yeah, I mean, and that's even another point that James makes, which goes against more Broner than anything is, that's not his weight he's used to fighting at. So not only, Broner couldn't make 140. So like I said, I called it last week. They changed the contract to accommodate him. But that ain't happened to other no-B titles. If it was vice versa, Santiago, you're up Schitt's Creek, But it is what it is. But yeah, for him to even have to come up to 147 and him still struggle that badly really shows more of how bad Broner actually was versus really how good of a performance Santiago was put on.
But we also got to, like I'm saying again, it's the reason why we should have been more impressed with Santiago, at least give him credit, because that's not really the weight class or the weight that he actually trained for in this fight. Yeah. Like most of the fight, he's training thinking they got to be 140. So, I mean, we got to see. I would like to see Santiago at 140.
Exactly, yeah. Especially after this fight, I want to see Santiago in another big fight, yeah.
Yeah, so, that's my thing.
I understood that Santiago didn't make weight either, and he was happy to have that contract altered to 147.
I honestly didn't hear that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not that he didn't make weight, but he was really happy to
he was okay with not having to make 140.
Yeah. Just go ahead and sign for 147 because he may have not have made it as well. So that's what I heard. That's what I read. So who knows? But a good fighter. I'd love to see him again.
All right, guys. We got Malachi joining in from Danger Zone Boxing. Malachi, always a pleasure having you on, man. We're talking Adrian Broner, Santiago fight. First off, your thoughts, disappointments, whatever you have for that fight.
I thought the scorecards were wider than what the actual fight was, but I came in expecting what I got from Adrian Broner. He hadn't fought in 2 years, and he wasn't that impressive when he went out the gate. I was impressed with Santiago as a prospect. So it was good to see him fight a big name because he hadn't really seen him fight anybody with a name yet. Unfortunately, it didn't go his way. Hopefully, in the future, though, we'll see him again with another big name fighter in the near future.
Good take on it. Back to what Lucas was saying. Okay, Lucas is kind of upset because of the name of Broner, even though he's coming off of 40 feet straight, 2 years out of the ring. And he fights a guy like Santiago, who Lucas believes Broner should have looked a lot better in the ring against. Okay, I think just what Malachi was saying, it was exactly what we thought he would bring to the table. The rust was there. As Shakur stated, he did snap out of it and come to his senses a little bit. But the issue really here, and the reason why the scorecard, everybody's upset with the scorecards, is because the output still isn't there from Broner. He still is gunshot. He's not willing to engage. Again, I'm going to use my scenario in a live dogfight situation. If you're not willing to engage, you will get killed. It's survival of the fittest. That is why Adrian Broner did not look good. Now, that being said, even though Santiago landed more shots, he threw more shots. Broner only threw like 49 shots at one point on one of those stat numbers. At elite level, you're not going to look good doing it and throwing that less amount of punches. They came in around the same percent rate as well. So I do agree that the fight was closer than what the scorecards allowed. But I think Broner won the fight. I think he won it on talent. I don't believe in Santiago. I'm sorry, I don't. He hasn't fought anybody yet to date. And from my opinion, he didn't take the fight to Broner like he needed to win it.
Okay. First off, he won a round without even throwing a punch, okay? He ain't Willie Pep. What in the hell? How you not land a punch and win a round? Broner is not that good of a defensive fighter. I don't need to say anything else. Clearly, the A side wins, and you know it. That shit was rigged. How the hell you gonna... You can't win a round without throwing a punch. This shit is set up. It was set up win for him. It was already decided before anybody stepped in that ring. Santiago would have had to put him out. There ain't no way he would have ever got that nod.
We got some comments here, guys. We got Mark Anthony Reyes Sr. He says, Broner hurt him a few times. That being said, I don't feel like 12 punches per round would have won the fight. Broner got a gift. Then he says, we did see some glimpse of the old Broner, but not enough to win the fight. I do not see Broner getting better. We got Mechie. He says, hi, babe. And then we got Mark again saying, Rob, what the heck are you talking about, bro? What you mean Santiago didn't do enough? He made the fight.
No, Broner's defense looked a lot better than I've seen in the last 4 fights that he was in. And it's because Santiago wasn't putting enough pressure on him, in my opinion. And the facts are in the way that he didn't win the fight. You can call it rigged. You can call it rigged. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I don't give a damn. If Santiago was that good, he would have made it at least a closer fight. He's not that good of a fighter.
Broner's always been a good defensive fighter. He's always been a good defensive fighter. Problem with Broner, in my view, is that he doesn't let the punches go, and when he does, he's not very accurate.
Well, so I think that's the problem to me too, and I think it's like he wants to be so accurate that it stops him from actually just throwing punches that could possibly land. You know, like he's so reserved with the punches because he wants to be accurate, and then he ends up going through several rounds and he don't have that many punches just because he's trying to be so accurate. So I mean, it's kind of like an oxymoron. It's like you need to throw more, but you want to be accurate. So I feel like if I'm gonna throw more, then I'm not gonna be accurate. Right. I think that's what's in his mind. I don't know. We got Anthony Cruz. He says that was a crazy fight.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Broner's still trying to be Mayweather. That's his problem. He can't let that kind of volume go because he's not as good as Mayweather. He's sitting there and trying to only counter, and making him miss and then making him pay. The problem is, a lot of times the pay ain't there, and he just eats some shots.
He's no
not,
Mayweather.
No, he's not defensively sound enough to try to accomplish what he's trying to do. And it's starting to look more like Berto trying to do that shoulder roll. It just don't fit.
I can't believe he's still doing that shoulder roll.
Where does Broner fall as a fighter? I mean, he's not a brawler. He's not a boxer. He's not. Oh, I guess the closest thing is a boxer. But I mean, stylistically, where is he? What would you call it?
He lost that, James. And he lost that. He should be more engaging. He should let his hands go. He should be more of a volume puncher.
Yeah, but when a fighter doesn't let his hands go, then what do you got? I think he's done.
I agree. Well,
a counter power puncher. He's got power. It's just
you would disagree. He just won a fight. What he land? 97 punches the entire fight.
He just won a fight. 2 years.
Let's see. Mark commented again. From what Rob said about Broner, I sure don't want to hear what he has to say about my son's fight. He may have had it 10 rounds to 0 for Janelson.
Oh, damn.
I still need to find the last 2 rounds, man. Showtime, damn AT&T cut off my recording. I didn't get to see the whole thing.
Send you them last 2 rounds.
Yeah, you need to send me if you can. Somebody's got those last 2.
I mean, I thought the fight was amazing, Mark. MRJ did his thing. Ain't nobody gonna say he ain't got a chin no more. Ain't nobody gonna say he can't go long rounds. Nobody's gonna say he got fluff. He got fluff opponents. All that is done. And now we're gonna see who's willing to get in the ring with him with that monster right hook he got.
Man, Mark Anthony and Santiago, I think those were come out fights. It didn't matter that either one lost. I think they're both going to be highly entertaining, and I think they won some fans, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hell, I mean, maybe we can see them against each other.
Oh, I definitely think that's like a fight that they could have, in the future, 4 or 5 fights down the road. Once they both get lamented, that'll be a hell of a rematch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm drooling just thinking about that fight. That'd be a lot of back and forth. Are we done beating Broner? Or are we gonna move on from this?
I was going to say one thing about Broner, and that's hopefully he gets right back in the ring. I thought that was one thing that he did say right, is that he definitely needs to stay in the ring. Because that ring rust, he started, warming it off and getting it off around the 7th round. But it's like, if he have another big gap in time again, he gonna fall right back into that same pattern of being real stiff when he gets to the ring.
Yeah, he basically begged. He's like, "Oh, hey, please just keep me in the ring," and that's kind of sad to see. I mean, at least he knows.
No, it's not.
He knows it's his own issue. I mean, it's good to see. It shows a little bit of growth. It shows that you know that you're your own worst enemy. You know you're your problem, but the problem with that is still you. And if you can't control yourself, it don't really matter if you're training or not. You know what I mean? You're never going to be ready. You got to have that mental fortitude. Like they say, the fight's already won before you step in the ring. And he ain't living that boxing lifestyle. He needs to, keep his edge straight. And I'm sorry I lost faith. I really like Broner. I think he was one of the biggest wastes of talent in all of boxing. We had him, marching up the pound-for-pound list back in the day. And where is he now, He just fell off the face. And it's sad to see.
So that being said, we tune to our next big fight of the weekend.
Mark said, "Rob, I like you. That's why I mess with you. So don't
don't
go crying.
Yeah, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I knew that would be an unpopular opinion. That's why I started the show with that. Get kind of our juices flowing. But this next topic, guys, is sad to me to see what happened on this bout. It's sad in a couple of ways, and I'm talking Oscar Valdez, Berchelt. It's sad because we seen the guy take a beating in the ring and get knocked out severely in the ring and it was scary at a moment, guys. He wasn't breathing. It looked like he wasn't breathing. He wasn't conscious. His eyes were closed. He was down for a while, and he had already taken a lot of punishment. That being said, it really was a hell of a fight. From what we did see, Berchelt was a contender for pound fighter. He was considered by many to be the best at 130 pounds going in this bout. What is your take on the outcome of this fight? What happened? What's your reactions? Give me all the good stuff, Lucas.
Man, Berchelt, he was looking a little slow at first, and I think Valdez capitalized on everything really well. Not only was it a pretty dominant performance, then he put that cherry on the top at the end. I mean, I can't be more excited for Valdez's future after this fight. Some people are clamoring for a rematch. Me, personally, I'm satisfied. I don't think they really need to run that back. I think it was mostly a very one-sided beatdown for me. Yeah, Berchelt, landed his own and he was still game, but for Valdez to just outbox him and outwork him in pretty much every category was just amazing to watch.
Shakur?
I agree with Lucas and him saying that it was a one-sided affair. I was like so shocked. Like between round 1 and 3, I was in denial. I was like, wait a minute, this ain't what I thought we was about to see. I'm thinking I want to see some brawling going on. These are two Mexicans. I'm thinking they finna go in there and war at it. But instead, what I got was some very technical, chemist type performance from Valdez, which I was there for that too. I love that too. But I mean, I was for Berchelt. I thought that he was just too big to handle. I thought that he was just more of a dominant and going to be more physical. I think he fought the wrong fight. But at the same time, you got to give Valdez credit for coming in with the plan and executing it perfectly. There's nothing more that can be said about Valdez. It's just I'm ready to see him and Shakur. Rematch, I'm not feeling that because Lucas is saying, it just seemed like it was so one-sided. Like, it was an amazing fight, but it wasn't like it was like super competitive back and forth to me. I just felt like Valdez went in there and took care of business the way you're supposed to when you want a bigger fight with like someone like Shakur. So I'm ready to see that fight and that negotiations go on. Apparently Shakur is also down with that. And it's about time because we can finally see Shakur face someone that has similar boxing skills that he has. So far when we see Shakur, it's such a mismatch in his fights right now. And I know they have to groom him and bring him up, slowly. But I think he's ready for some real talent, to be in the ring with him. It's going to elevate him to the next level too. Win, lose, or a draw.
Yeah, Stevenson's going to be interesting to see. And we definitely got some people wondering what you guys are thinking as far as him versus Stevenson and how that could go.
That, I mean, that's what they're talking about right now. But Oscar just beat pretty much a legend in the making at 130 pounds. Let this kid celebrate. You already want to throw him in with Stevenson, which Stevenson to me is not proven worthy to be at the top level yet. There's some guys underneath Valdez at this point that I think Stevenson needs to fight and prove and show and prove. Yeah, he's an amazing prospect. He's a great talent. Otherwise, you wouldn't be mentioning him in this fight. But I still think he has a little bit more to prove before he gets on this stage or this level. But say they do throw him in there and they want to scrap together, Valdez is going to show him a lot of stuff that he hasn't seen in his career thus far. And the thing I want to see, which will definitely happen, this young kid get frustrated. I can definitely see him getting frustrated in this type of bout, and that possibly leading to a valuable lesson and a possible loss on his career.
CJ says, what? That kid Shakur is a star.
In the making, though. But is he? It's to be determined.
I mean, I feel like he should go after the belt, though. You're saying why should he go, straight go after the belt? Valdez has the belt now, though, so that's the logical thing for him to do is follow the belt. So I don't understand why you saying he should be fighting lesser people.
Who has he beat? Name one person Shakur Stevenson beat.
That's why I just said I don't have a name because I think that his fights have been mismatched. And
that's why.
But it's time for him to fight someone who is established, who we know is a great fighter, to give him competition. So that was my whole point. Is that
unfortunately at 130 you got a lot there at 130 to bring your way up into that.
But looking at Shakur,
money fight for him too.
Looking at Shakur Stevenson in his last fight, it was Toka Conclari. Did everything well. Showed a lot of speed, a lot of aggressiveness, good defense, really good food. I mean, he looked great. And I've seen Toka Conclari fight here, not too far from my home. He fought a guy from Tijuana. His name is Edwin Solis. And I don't know whatever happened to Edwin Solis, but that fight, if you guys can go back and watch that, it's Edwin Solis versus Toka Conclari. My God, talking a war. Very low-key fight, but a war. And, Shakur Stevenson took out Conclari decisively. And so I give a lot of credit to Shakur. But your question was about Berchelt a minute ago. I just wanted to say about Berchelt, not to take anything away from Valdez, because I love him. Berchelt wasn't 100%. There's no way. He just looked sluggish. There's something there that just didn't square with me. His footwork wasn't there. He looked a little bit slow, kind of out of balance. I'm not sure what it was, but I wasn't too impressed with his look coming into the fight. And in the first 2 rounds, just didn't convince me that he was 100%. But again, Valdez, game plan your work your plan. That's what he did. I think they won that fight in the gym. They won it in the corner because they worked that plan. And it's just a flawless performance. Tim Bradley said it. He's boxing beautifully. And I'd never, ever, ever heard anyone say anything like that about Valdez because of that single speed that he had. It's always, just get in there and fight. And, that style doesn't work so well in the long run. But he did it. He learned. And I think Eddie Reynoso takes a lot of the credit there. It's a masterful performance.
Yeah, for sure. 100.
Definitely agree with you there. Now, do you guys think it should have been stopped in the 4th? Because I know everybody in the boxing group that we have offline here that I said, at the 4th he didn't look good, and I still think it should have probably been stopped. Like, he literally was barely on his feet, stumbling back and forth from ring to post for at least like the last 60 seconds. It was pretty bad. I mean,
here's my thing with it, and regardless, it looked bad in the 4th. You got to look at what happened prior to the knockout. He was trying to knock Valdez out, which is what led to him getting knocked out because of the flailing punches. Valdez was on his defensive game, was able to get through most of that and land the perfect punch. But you have to give credit to Berchelt. As bad as it looked, he was trying to knock the kid out in that round.
I give Berchelt a lot of credit for that, but I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority. I've been waiting for this to happen. He has one of the worst defensive sets in all of boxing. I think he's like the 8th worst defensive fighter when it comes to allowing your opponents to punch you in boxing. He eats clean punches constantly. He's always been the bigger guy in the ring. So now it's going to change. Valdez, in my opinion, exposed a lot of flaws that he's had, but other fighters haven't been able to expose. Not taking anything away from what he done. I believe he was 2nd all time with Julio Cesar Chavez with title defenses in that division. I give him that. Great fighter. But at the same time, I've been waiting for this to happen. I just didn't think it would be Jason. Didn't think it would be Valdez that did it. Oscar Valdez.
That's a good point. I mean, because ESPN was actually talking about how, defensively he was so far on the bottom and was willing to take punches to get what he wanted out of it.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right, but I never thought of it that way because he's always been the bigger guy in there. So, I've always felt like he could just bully people around. But everybody had a reckoning day and boxing, and this was a perfect situation where we saw it firsthand. But to James's point, I did read that Berchelt, people were feeling kind of funny and about Berchelt and him, having to drink immediately and eat something immediately and not looking good, and so the rumor was that he had drained himself of weight, and all this kind of thing was going on behind the scenes. So I mean, maybe there was some truth to that, or maybe he was sick with something else. You just never know. So
that's a possibility. He did look sluggish. I agree.
Well, he fought last year, so it's not rust or anything due to COVID. He fought last year, so it had to be he drained himself or something like that.
Yeah, but to Lucas's question about the fourth round, I did think if it wasn't a
I was going to say, I don't think anybody answered me. I asked a question, everybody went around it. Nobody said anything about it.
I answered you. I said no, because the guy still tried to knock him out, even up to the knockout.
I didn't understand that. Like you just because you're going for a knockout still doesn't mean that the fight should not be stopped.
Yeah, I agree with Lucas.
If you show that you're fighting back, if you show that you're still in the fight, then they're not going to call.
Every time he was getting caught, Rob, he had the chicken legs, man, for quite a while. Yeah. He had the chicken legs, and that's a sign that your equilibrium's off, and
it's rubber. And that first punch that landed and caused damage was at the top of the head.
Yeah, it's like right up here.
His equilibrium was really off since then. But if it was a different fight, and it wasn't, Mexicano versus Mexicano, what we would have probably seen was the ref would have stopped that fight then, because he was kind of stumbling when he was like, "Come here," like when he was doing the test, he still stumbled, but the man was like, "Okay, go ahead." I was like, "What? Oh my god!" And then so you didn't stop at that round, in the ref's mind, they usually are like, "I'm gonna give him one more round since he was, he's a champ and he's defending his title." I know that's what was in the ref's mind, but after he still wasn't looking right, and as Malachi was saying, his legs was real rubbery, even in the next round, I think that's when they should have started examining it. Yeah. And that's why it was so scary when he got the KO, because it was like he had nothing, and everybody knew he had been taking damage the entire fight by that point, and that there could have been some serious brain injuries going on there. So that's why you don't do that,
Here's a different twist on this issue in fourth round, is that there are some referees who would definitely have stopped that fight. I think Raul Caiz would have stopped it. I think Vic Draculich would have stopped it. I don't think Tony Weeks would stop it. What is the other referee? Jack Reese. Yeah, I think he'd have let it go on. I don't know enough about Russell Mora, honestly.
About Bayless. Bayless would have stopped it, right?
Bayless would have been like, yeah, that's
Kenny Mayweather Bayless. Yeah, he probably would have stopped. I have no idea. But I did hear from Oscar that he said in an interview that he's glad that they didn't stop it, because there's a lot of naysayers out there, and the comments that follow if he gets a win from a stoppage like that, an early stoppage, is that, it's all fixed and rigged and blah blah blah. Okay. And he really wanted to punctuate this victory with a knockout, and that he did.
Yeah.
Bam.
I agree. I really think it should have been stopped. And we've seen fighters die from less, or at least what appeared less. And you got to blame the doctor, but overall you got to blame the ref. I mean, he literally checked his hands like as he's stumbling, like. Come on, man. That's an ultimate wave off, okay? That's a wave off for me. You can't be doing that. I mean, if he dies, I'm sorry, but that's on you at that point.
Agree.
I think it was.
You don't want it to be on your conscience that you could have stopped it and saved a human's life. You don't want that on your conscience.
Yeah, I think it was.
As a boxing ref, I mean, nobody's going to trust you to, ref or another fight again with their fighter if you allow somebody to pass away. That's kind of how it works,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in the culture. Not for the fans. We don't know no difference, but a lot of times, you know, trainers behind doors are like, you know, no, I don't want that ref. You know, he allows too much or whatever. He won't protect the fighter. So
Right.
I feel like we really need to make sure that when we're fans and we're rooting it on, and that that knockout was magnificent. However, you know, that's not a reason for, or it's not a legitimate reason why the fight shouldn't have been stopped. So, you know, we can have a KO just to shut people's rumor mill mouths. I mean, that's not the main primary goal. Is that we are saving lives and we're stopping fighters so that they can fight another day.
Yeah.
And that was like a lot of rounds in between, guys. He had me really scared. I mean, I was so upset at the end when he wasn't moving us and stuff. And that's not what boxing fans, especially those football, college football fans that decided to stay on ESPN and watch that. You know, that's kind of like you're trying to transform, you know, or transfer boxing, football fans over to boxing, and you don't want them to like have that thought in their head, like, damn, this is too brutal for us to even watch, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I think we have to be careful with that.
my question, Rob, is should he have come out for the 10th round, or should his corner thrown in the towel or called it after 9? Because there wasn't a lot he could do at that point with his condition. He was in bad shape. What do you guys think?
He wanted to go for a knockout, and he tried, and he ended up getting knocked out.
He was
He
swinging.
ended up
There's no
getting
question.
knocked out. I think in a fight like that, you have to let the fighter. If the fighters are willing to fight, and needless to say, he got checked out afterwards. Nothing has come back so far. He's okay. So
He's fine.
he made it through. So
He's alive.
To me, I think that's the end of that. That's the end of that topic.
No, it's not, because we just watched Brazil versus.
Thank you. Bring it right around the next
we
topic.
just watched that fight, and we saw that Brazil was less than before he got that ferocious KO from Wilder. He was extremely slow. These are signs that you've had a traumatic brain injury. Your cognitive function is not the same, and I don't feel that like you still. Yeah, he woke up. Okay, he was fine as far as we know, but he really is not gonna know how all that punishment is until he get ready to prepare for his next fight. Because Brazil is a good example right now to me, guys, where he's not looking the same. I know he wasn't the best boxer to begin with. However, that type of slow that we saw the Saturday night is like next level type something. Something cognitive is happening there with that type of slowness in box when you see that in a boxer. And we know he had like one of the most vicious knockouts ever from Wilder. So I think that some of these injuries, they do a little bit more damage than what we feel as fans. Like, we're like, oh, they woke up, yay! And it's like, no. There's a lot more going on there than we actually know. It's like people that's getting COVID. You didn't die. And then you hear like, 3 months later, these people are still having symptoms. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no, it can't just be when they wake up, they're fine. So yes,
Yeah, no.
James, your question, his team should have definitely stopped it. He could not have won that fight at that point, and they knew it, and they let him go out there and risk even more further damage. And if I'm not lying, okay, if I was lying, then we wouldn't have seen him down for so long and completely out.
Yeah.
Well, I won't translate what they said, and I don't know if the fighter said it or the manager said it or the cut man said it. I'm not sure. But basically what they said was things is really effed up. And when there's that kind of sentiment in a corner, you know what, let's call it a night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
and
your boxer.
He's, I don't know if it's the Mexican in him or what it is, but they sent him out. And I thought he was in horrible shape coming out for the 10th. And
yeah,
I thought that was a bad call.
Yeah, I mean, it was disappointing. And I'm all for the blood and guts warriors. I love Gotti. If you have the ability to still hurt your opponent, as you said, by all means, let him continue. But at this point, I don't think Berchelt would have been able to do anything to Valdez. It was done.
No, he had a good 5th and 6th round, but then he faded, and Valdez was picking up steam.
Yeah, those were good rounds for him, but I don't really also think he was able to really hurt Valdez.
Yeah,
no, not with the
most of his power. The sting was definitely gone.
Yeah,
not with the technique that Valdez was showing with his footwork, with going southpaw and stepping out to the right.
But,
I mean, and tying him up.
Yeah, he tied him up. He tied him up real nice. I actually thought it was going to get warned at some point. Y'all think it was a little excessive?
No.
I think there was a warning for blows to the back of the head or something like that.
Yeah,
I think that's the only warning
punches.
he took.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, do you think he should have been? Do you think it was excessive holding? I mean, it was B-Hop-esque. It was quite a bit.
No.
No?
I thought it was...
I'm good with it. I'm good with that part. That's the least thing I'm worried about. I think.
No, he was.
I think it was borderline, warning time.
But he's throwing sufficiently.
He is.
He was throwing a lot of punches. He was throwing a lot of clean punches. So
I think a lot of people let holding go a little bit too much, but that's just me. I think if I was a ref, I'd be pretty stingent.
I don't like when they keep pulling them apart. Like let these guys get in there and do what they do. They need to get in there and make stuff
Exactly.
happen.
You can't do that though if they're holding. You can't. You have to break it and peel them off.
You gotta work it out.
That's what I'm saying though.
Tony,
Is if you
like,
penalize
work
it,
it
it causes more action and maybe allow Berchelt in the fight better. You see what I mean? You're taking away Berchelt's ability to work inside because he was having him held up.
Hey,
You're allowing one style to dictate, and I don't like that.
You have to use all the tools you got, baby, when you get in that ring. It's just you and your opponent. You got to use everything.
Again, but holding is not you can't do that. That's not technically legal, but it just does not get called.
Yeah,
that's what annoys me.
I feel like you got to use all them sneaky tactics. You got to use all the good tactics, the skills. What we witnessed basically, guys, was somebody like, this was like real systematic breaking down. As, E used to say, Emmanuel Stewart. I mean, that was just like classic break your man down systematically. And if you got to hold him a little bit to make sure that happens, I'm all for it. You got to use everything you can in your toolbox. And that's who who really wants to win.
And holding
is no different than that.
No, holding is bad too because it drains you not only physically but mentally. You're like, man, I can't hit him. He keeps holding me, and he's leaning on you and holding on you. That wears you out physically too. I think it's just as bad as a headbutt. That's just me. I think it should be called a little bit more stringent than what it is. People let holding go way too long, and like I said, it allows dictation of a fight against the rules.
Well, obviously, Lucas is a fan of BKB boxing. We all know that by now.
I watched a lot of that, actually.
Moving along, though, a little bit. So I just want to touch on a few other tidbits about this weekend's fight. So right now it's being rumored or speculated because it hasn't really went official, but it looks like the Valdez-Berchelt bout averaged around 895,000 views, whereas Broner and Santiago averaged around 306,000. So that goes to show you.
I think he got half of the overflow. 200 or some thousand was the people who were done with Valdez.
With Valdez, right?
And they turned in. They're like, "Oh, Broner's on, sweet." And then they were disappointed because they saw Broner.
So there's that, and then also along what Shakura was trying to say when she brought up Brazil, hats off to Otto Wallin. He did put on a good performance there and earning that victory in that heavyweight bout. People right now have him moving up the ladder at heavyweight, so that's one to take note on. All right.
Speaking of getting rid of somebody, I do feel like Wallin should have gotten rid of Brazil. I don't know what was the holdback, but you got to get these guys out of here. It's a situation where you got a dead man in front of you. Just like go ahead and chop the head off. I think he lingered around a little bit way too long, and then Wallen almost, had an injury from that later on in the rounds because he sat there and Brazil had his plan where he was gonna come on in the later rounds, and that's exactly what happened. So Wallen, he needs to work on his stamina and stop allowing people to linger too long. But other than that, he did have way more technique and way more. He set up a lot of punches for Brazil, and he didn't have an answer for it.
Yeah, I don't think Wallen's super powerful, so I don't know. Maybe you just couldn't get him out of there. But regardless, I think, who's given Fury the toughest fight? I mean, Wallen. A lot of people might not want to admit that, but I'm sorry, it's true. Wallen gave him the toughest fight. Tougher than any of the two Wilder fights. Tougher than anything Fury has fought. I mean, he's an up-and-comer. Everybody should be watching him.
Is there going to be a rematch there?
Well,
they won it, and they think that they deserved it, and who's to say otherwise?
Yeah, they want that, and I can see that being a good possibility for maybe a tune-up fight if Fury just wants to get back in the ring. Just
now
to get back
you
there.
disrespected Wallen with the tune-up.
So did. You really did with that.
We already just said, did you hear us? He put on a better performance than Fury in 2 fights.
You mean
Wilder.
he put on a better
The Wilder,
performance
yeah.
than Wilder,
Damn, I can't. See, you make me so mad I say shit wrong.
Which is BS because Wilder knocked him down twice. Wilder never did that.
Knocking him down ain't shit. That. Okay, so you knocked him down twice,
okay, so
but then you lose every round after that.
He also cut him.
You almost get knocked out.
Did he win another round other than a knockdown round? No, he did not.
He knocked him out, but that's my opinion.
He didn't knock him out.
The referee didn't count to 10. He allowed 5 seconds to pass before he counted.
Here we go.
No, but
so the counter outside the ring was down with that too. The counter outside the ring was in on the conspiracy.
The counter outside the ring had 5 before the referee even counted 1. It's in the tape.
It's a bit fishy.
It's the tape I saw. It's the tape I saw.
It's a bit fishy, huh, Malachi?
Oh man.
All right, but this opening topic, opening up this next topic, and I hope we get some nice interaction, Lucas Malachi. But we tune in now when we want to talk about this coming weekend's fight.
Oh.
Canelo Alvarez versus Yildrim on DA Live on DAZN this Saturday, guys. It's return of Canelo. First off, did you see the kind of promotion that they ran in the stadium there? Yildrim looks a lot taller and bigger than Canelo, doesn't he?
So did Caleb Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there's
taller
something
anyway.
There's something about Yildrim. I don't know. Yildrim looks kind of buff at that height.
You taking Yildrim?
He's in shape.
Hey, are you leaning towards taking Yildrim?
I'm just trying to open up the conversation, okay? Because Lucas, let's get your rants. You said that you was gonna give us something special on this night about this fight. Here you go. This is your time.
I don't even know if I have it in me. I mean, I think I've said it so many times it's already like worn out. The Yildrim fight, though, at this point, it's a mandatory, so I will give him credit. He's fighting a mandatory. Most people will avoid that, especially Canelo's spot. He don't need no goddamn mandatory. He can throw that belt away, make more money than he's ever made before. Why would he fight Yildrim? So, but he definitely scheduled this like on the go. Like, yeah, I'll fight you, and then I got this over here. So he already knows he's gonna win. He's already thinking down the road. However, I will say you put out that text. I think this is a bull-faced lie. I would love to see the proof, Canelo. But he said he was talking to Beterbiev before the Kovalev fight happened. And then Beterbiev said, what? He didn't talk to me or my team. Like, nah, I think he made that up. Get a little bit of respect.
They may have reached out to Beterbiev, but Beterbiev had something already in the books.
Yeah,
so
but
that was a definite
kind of saying
that was a definite non-starter.
Yeah.
That conversation was going nowhere.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. I mean,
Lucas,
Beterbiev not wanting Canelo money. I don't believe that for one hot second.
Nah,
I don't believe that shit.
Not unless it was like 2 weeks notice, buddy. And then they were like, yeah.
Oh, the way they did Caleb.
So,
okay.
so
No,
I need your breakdown though in your prediction, Lucas. Let's make it
Am I
official.
really gonna give it a prediction for this? Probably a Canelo decision. I don't know if Canelo can get him out of there. He's a big dude like Caleb Smith was. I really hope that Yildrim comes and willing to actually engage, but I think he's going to be more like Caleb Smith and for some reason put himself on the ropes and basically put his hands up and be like, just punch my body.
Oh my God, Lucas, you're hilarious.
Look, Yildrim's not coming out to win. Let's face it, he's coming out like Kovalev did. He's coming out for the paycheck. This is a lottery ticket now. And, very few people are taking it that way. I commend Caleb's Plant a lot because Caleb Plant really thinks that he can win the fight. He wants a fair shake. He's willing to wait it out until he's going to give him a full camp. Because right now, Canelo really doesn't have a whole lot of options. I mean, who else is he going to face that's actually going to bring some interest? Because I don't think he's going back down to 160. He's not going to fight Golovkin. What's left?
Not going to fight Benavidez.
And he damn sure ain't going to fight Beterbiev.
Benavidez ain't gonna fight nobody. He dropping out of title eliminators and everything. He don't want to fight either.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, what's left? There is nothing left. I mean, that's why he's fighting Yildrim in the first place. He's more like a placeholder for an idea later down the road that he's hoping to open up, and I don't know who he's gonna face. But honestly, I'm bored with Canelo unless he can make another big fight because he seems to be avoiding.
Well, it seems like they got Saunders in the books later on in the year, maybe around
They
Cinco
do.
de Mayo.
That one already is official.
It's officially
official.
agreed to, but there's nothing signed on the dotted line yet. Fights fall apart all the time.
It's all preliminary.
Yeah.
Well,
Shakura.
I do think that Canelo is going to win. But I mean, I'm really hoping, guys, that Yildrim at least gives him some pushback. And maybe, just maybe, he's not just satisfied with getting a big payday. Maybe he does want to, hopefully establish a name in boxing too. So we don't really know that much about Yildrim either. So why not, if I'm Yildrim, I'm already going to get this payday anyway. They're going to have to run me these coins. So I might as well just go out and try to do it best I can because I can see, if I'm the boxer, I'm looking at all the other opponents that Canelo has and where their careers are stalling completely out. And if that's not his goal, then he needs to be competitive in there. He needs to show that he's not just like a damn puff pastry cake. So he's gonna have to try to give him some kind of work and don't look like you there just to get hit on, as Lucas was mentioning. Bring some action to this fight, and people will be willing to watch him in a different, type of opponent situation later. And that's if that's his goal. So I'm really hoping for that. I'm not going to count him completely out, but I do think the end goal is that Canelo gets to move on to fight the BJ Saunders fight in May, which is all good. I mean, I'm down for that fight too. But like you said, the main fight that I'm interested in is the Caleb Plant versus Canelo. Will it happen or won't it happen? We still have no idea. So we might as well enjoy BJ Saunders if it happens, and we might as well just, at least check out the Yildrim fight.
Well, if he does get by Saunders, then he could potentially fight him in September, Mexican Independence, which is September 16th weekend.
Right.
But to Yildrim's credit, he's training with Manny Robles, and I think Manny Robles does a really good job in getting his fighters ready for battle. He trained Valdez for a long time. So hopefully we see a Yildrim that's ready to go and give Canelo a good run for his money.
How long has he been training with Yildrim? Or is this going to be the first fight?
I think this is something new.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Malachi, what's your take?
I think Yildrim is going to show up to fight. And I think that just like Callum Smith, there's not going to be anything he can do about it. He's just going to take a beating. Callum Smith's game plan wasn't to go to the ropes. He got forced to the ropes. He got his best weapon, completely taken away from him by a tactic that it's an old school tactic. He beat his arm up till it swelled up. Yildrim's going to come to fight. He's going to have no chance. Caleb Plant is not going to beat Canelo. I know you guys keep wanting to see that, talk about him versus Canelo.
Yeah,
You're telling me you watched that fight versus Caleb Truax, and came away thinking, hey, this guy's got a chance
No.
to beat Canelo Alvarez.
No, that's not what I said.
That's a regular fight to fight, just to keep yourself warmed up, man.
But
nobody wasn't thinking, come on now. Caleb knew he was going to get through Truex. That's just the same picture as we're dealing with now, where you got a Yildrim and a Canelo. That's how different the levels are. So, we can't take that seriously.
And I was referencing... And I was referencing one exchange with Canelo and Caleb Smith where, Caleb's actually able to circle out into the middle of the ring. Canelo doesn't even move. He puts himself back on the ropes again. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
I saw that too.
That ain't no trick. That ain't no trap. Motherfucker, you just... it didn't make any sense. I don't know, man. It was bad.
I don't like the fight. I wish Canelo could have found someone else a little bit more well-known. But he just came off from beating the lineal champion in this division. And he has stated that he wants to be the first Mexican to unify the super middleweight division. I think he's going to stick around here. I'm interested if Charlo is going to actually vacate and move up to 168.
I like to see that.
I think Benavidez is fighting at 175, so he would have to actually come back down to 168 to fight Canelo.
I don't see him being able to come back down.
I mean, I don't mean to down Caleb Smith and anything he's accomplished, but at the same point, it's like winning vacant titles is like, really, who did you beat for that title?
He won the Super Six, though.
Yeah, but again, even if you won a tournament, you can say I won a tournament. Who else was in the damn tournament? You feel me?
It was Groves
Groves was the champion, though, right?
Yeah, he beat him. But here's the thing. I don't have a problem with Canelo. I freaking like Canelo. Fucking Canelo, fight somebody.
We all like Canelo. That's the problem. Y'all think I hate Canelo. I don't hate Canelo.
He just did.
No,
but he
that's
just
where we
did, and we're like,
disagree.
it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. He just did, and that wasn't good enough.
Fight somebody that actually believes they can win. Fight somebody.
Yeah, I mean, he was there for the check. He didn't move, and I'm afraid it's going to look the same. It's going to be all the same.
It's got to be some one. I wasn't even
going to show up like Joshua Clottey and just
it was
here to get my check.
All over again. Like, we're hyped up. We're thinking it's going to be a good fight. And then Danny gets around in there, and he just dances around. And I don't know what that was, but that didn't show me no hunger from Danny Jacobs. Like, he got to get some opponents that's ready to fight and feel like they got a chance to, like they feel like they're good.
Yeah. I'll take a Danny Jacobs
rematch. He takes it away from him.
I'll take a Danny
He
Jacobs
takes it away
rematch.
from him, though.
So Danny Jacobs was there and was like, I'm going to get this payday, baby.
He came to fight. Canelo just did what Canelo does. Was like, you can't fight me.
I didn't see it. Stop it, Malachi. Stop it. I know you love Canelo. I like him too. But damn it, you need to get him in the ring. Tell your boy to get in the damn ring with a Charlo or a Caleb Plant or move up. Do something. Because this right here, what he's doing with this Yildrim fight, damn it, I was trying to just let this slide because I don't want to seem like I'm down in Yildrim. But damn it, he got to stop doing this stuff. Like, this is not good for the sport. Okay, this is not good.
I agree.
People talk about Mayweather wasn't this and he was that, and it wasn't good. But how about this ain't good either?
Yeah, I mean, it is cherry picking to a degree. He sees something that he knows he can go take. He goes and takes it. Then he's like, oh, I'm not going to keep fighting at this weight, even though I just did. I just got a belt, right? So if you got a belt in there, you should be able to defend it, right? No, you can't. So you just abandon that shit. You go back down. You win another title. You pick and choose these titles because WBC is going to let you fight whoever you want anyway.
Lucas.
Get that shit out of here. I don't
Lucas.
know,
Lucas.
What?
He's picking and choosing the weight that he fights in, right?
Yeah.
He always has.
So you're telling me that because he's picking and choosing the weight that he fights in, he's able to pick and choose who he fights, right? What if the guy is just good enough to beat everybody he wants to fight?
Then fight the people that are actually good at that weight class. Don't go up and beat a Rocky Fielding because you know you're going to beat him. You ain't going up and beating no real champ. You go up and beat Rocky Fielding.
He just did, though. He just beat the guy at 168.
No, let me
Maybe.
say this thing, guys, because I don't want people to be like, oh, she's a Canelo hater. But
I mean, that's what people are dubbing y'all right now.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
Here's my thing.
What's the comment say?
Let me speak.
Nothing.
I get so pissed off because of the fact that I know he can fucking beat most of these people. So you need to get your ass in the ring and fight him. Stop with this BS, man. That's what pisses me off. It's like you freaking got the skills and the damn power and shit to beat these people.
So let me
Get
say
your
this.
ass in the ring and show that you care about your legacy and stop looking like you just doing fluff fights for the hell of it.
They offered Charlo. They offered Charlo.
Let me say this. They offered Caleb Plant to fight. He didn't take it.
No notice.
It don't matter. It don't matter. I'm Canelo.
It don't matter.
It's your money. It's your
number one pound for pound fighter in the world.
Take the fight.
Number one pound for pound stays that way for a reason.
What did you say, Lucas? If you a fighter and you live that boxer's lifestyle, you stay ready.
With 2 weeks notice. If you're a freaking fighter, you're a major world champion and you're the top of the food chain, why would you even want to stain your own legacy by fighting somebody that's not up to their best?
Right. Rob's turned my words against me. Rob's like, oh, you say ready. Okay, there's a difference between fighting ready, right, and Canelo elite level ready. Like, you have to prepare for Canelo for those 8 weeks. You ain't giving me no damn 2 week notice. You ain't giving me no 4 week notice. I want at least 8 weeks. Caleb Plant's smart for saying, fuck off, because that's what I.
So let me say this.
And he ain't money
You're
hungry,
down.
so that
Hold
shit
on.
don't work
Can
on
I have
everybody.
my
He
son?
finally found somebody that shit don't work on. Like right now, he's using people, and they like, damn, I can't let these coins pass me by. My family got to eat. He finally found somebody that didn't give a damn.
Or they saying like Charlo wasn't enough money, because Charlo could have already fought Canelo just like Plant could have. They made an offer. He said it wasn't enough money.
Callum Smith said that the first
I didn't see the offer. How much was it? Do we know?
Callum Smith said that the first go around.
Now, you see,
listen,
you sound a little biased now because you're like, oh, well, he was in an offer. That could have been for $5 for all you know.
I didn't know that Charlo had turned down a fight with Canelo. I never heard that.
He said it was his team. I'll send you the link. I'll send one of them.
So that would have been at 160, but the problem there is that he's a PBC fighter. Canelo is now DAZN, so it's kind of a pipe dream. Talking about Plant, Plant is Top Rank, right?
No,
he's PBC.
He's PBC as well.
Okay, so PBC again. So versus DAZN, it's not going to happen.
They were pretty good together, though. They work together.
I really hope that he can face Plant.
So anyway,
if you can see Plant later on.
The topic of discussion.
If there's enough money involved, they make the fights. That's just the bottom line of it.
The topic of discussion is Yildrim, okay, and I'm kind of going back to this. I'm kind of going back to this because you guys are already over talking this man when he earned the shot. He's a mandatory for a reason. That means he earned the shot. He's an undefeated fighter.
No, he
could be.
No. You're
Even
making
Al
me.
Bernstein commented on that. He was like, I'm trying to find why he is the mandatory.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm still trying to find and research it.
Because that's y'all trying to disrespect. Because that's them trying to disrespect this fighter.
No,
and what I'm not going to let y'all, what y'all not going to do is disrespect an undefeated fighter. And this kid is a contender right now. He's a mandatory challenger.
Man.
Not to mention,
listen.
No,
I gotta cut you off. No,
not to mention
you
the fact.
literally said he's mandatory for a reason, right? Those were your words.
What's the reason?
He lost his recent fight. You can't even fight somebody coming off a win, Canelo. How are you even a mandatory? It doesn't make sense. These rankings don't make sense.
I was always gonna say you're gonna say Al Bernstein, who's one of the most neutral people in the game, okay? And he says he can't figure it out how that happened, and you're saying that they're trying to throw salt on him. That that's just totally out of character too. Like that's not.
Right.
He's ranked.
What happened?
And I'll take it one further. He's ranked because Canelo said rank him. Canelo wanted to fight him. That's why it happened.
Listen,
No. This is a trick question. This is a real question. How many times have you seen fighters' ranks jump their opponents of Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, and Canelo when the fight comes up? Every single damn time. They make the opponent seem better than what they are so that people will actually check the fight out. The only difference is the only people that actually check this shit out, as far as rankings go, is us, the people that actually know better anyway. So the rankings don't mean shit. Nobody follows the fucking rankings. Nobody goes to IBF and be like, oh, I wonder where he's at. No, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares because it's all false garbage anyway.
Malachi, what do you think about that statement?
So hold on,
I'm not.
Can I finish my?
Well, I just
Or you
just
gonna continue to throw the dogs at me? Go ahead, Malachi. Go ahead
about the rankings.
Go ahead.
I agree with Lucas. The rankings, they get ridiculous at times. You wonder how some of these guys get ranked where they are. You'll see a guy ranked in the top 5 for one organizing body, and he's not even ranked in the other one. It's a lot of times they don't make sense.
That is true.
Okay, so
looking at Yildrim right quick, he's lost his 2 step-up fights. He lost to Jarrell and he lost to Eubanks. So he's kind of like Danny Garcia, give him a good fight and he folds.
Right. So
I just don't think that he's on Canelo's level. But that's the reoccurring theme with Canelo. He's fighting fighters way below his level. It's it's a whole list of them. We'll see what happens.
Can I defend myself now?
Go ahead.
Can I?
Go ahead.
I absolutely apologize to the viewers listening because I believe that I was wrong and Yildrim ain't this big fighter that I try to put him to be. I try to play devil's advocate and I lost, okay, in a big way. I apologize. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about these rankings? I want that question. I want you to answer that question.
The rankings always have been ludicrous because they keep fluctuating and they put people in and out all the time. And I've said this before, and me and Lucas have talked about this many times. Now, Lucas doesn't know how you could do it, or it's a perfect world scenario, or they should be coming up with some type of point system or something like that to be able to get a good ranking system out there. Because for years and years, you just plug and play. And that's how it's always been. Hell, you can get not ranked just by not paying fees.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. You can. I mean, I think, the real rankings. I mean, I thought the Ring was doing a good job at one point. Then they got political. I'm just like, damn, we ain't got nowhere to go to see where these people really belong now.
Ring's still owned by Oscar De La Hoya, isn't it?
I know, part
Yeah,
owner.
I can't respect it. I can't trust it. It's going to seem biased no matter what. So, I mean, even if they're not being biased, it's going to come off as bias. You feel me? So I can't mess with it.
At one time they were good. Now it's like suspect.
And see, I know everybody already watches me and thinks I am a Canelo hater. I don't. I like Canelo. I want to see him in these fights because the fights where he steps up, the Trout fights, the Lara fights, the Golovkin fights, the Jacobs fights, all are fucking amazing. I can watch those fights all day long. I love Canelo and how he fights. He's a good fighter. And I'm watching him become great. And you want to see these things because I think it can gradually get even better. He can. The sky's the limit for Canelo. And we're just not going to see it. I feel like we're being robbed. The public is being robbed of what Canelo can be.
Well, that's your take on it, and I heard it from Mayweather before when he said, I can run up any of these divisions and win. And maybe that's the statement he's trying to make. I can run up in any of these divisions. Right now, his goal is unify at 168. Unify.
Not unify.
He wants to unify.
Not unify. Become undisputed. That's what's going to at least be an accomplishment. The only problem for me is at 168, the really 3 that he's going to be fighting at, that's clearly the easier case. You understand what I'm saying? Out of the fighters at 168, that is clearly the easiest plan to go about doing said achievement. 175, not going to happen. 160, I doubt that's going to happen either. He's avoiding fights at those levels for a reason, going to go ahead and get that undisputed, and I'll call it now. He's already, you might as well crown him undisputed.
Malachi.
At that
Malachi.
He's going to be undisputed at 168. Call it like I see it. That's what's going to happen. But he ain't getting it at the other 2 weight classes right now. And the only way that it will become interesting is if some Charlos and some other people do step up and actually get a belt at 168 to kind of hold it hostage. And then I think he might rethink the whole undisputed thing. That's just me, though. I don't know.
Malachi, this sounds like some NFL fan trying to say, oh, because you were in the NFC North, you had the easiest route to the championship. Okay,
hey,
we don't
NFC
make
North
schedule.
puts up 2. We ain't gonna talk about that though. That's a different sport.
we don't make the schedule out here. Okay, we just win them games. Okay, we don't determine which team, and of course on any given Sunday you can be beat.
You say we don't make the schedule. That's the problem. He makes a schedule.
Yeah, you messed that one up. You was going the right way too, Rob.
We start on a good note.
Every A side throughout history has done this. From you go back to Ray Robinson.
Right. That don't make it right. And
you go back to him and Charles Burley arguing over a purse gate, a gate purse.
You actually
but this is the way it is. Do you judge? Did you judge? Did you judge Oscar that way? Did you judge?
Look, Malachi. Yes,
it's the truth.
Yes, we did. We did judge them. We've been judging them. This is what's wrong with boxing. We said that about Mayweather, did we not? Do you not feel robbed from Mayweather and how great he was and what fights we could have saw that we never saw? Do you not feel that way? Because I do. I feel like we were robbed.
Really, there's only two fights I really think Mayweather left out there. That was Paul Williams and then the big guy that Pacquiao beat up, the guy who cheated, Margarito. Yeah.
Oh, Margarito. Well, I mean, my point is, I think he left Keith Thurman out there too because he was his mentor for he was the interim champ for like two years. But
he took Berto instead.
Yeah.
I mean, did we really see any of the ones that were there? We could have seen, a Danny Garcia was even better than like.
But he fought Cotto.
Cotto wasn't shit.
Who did like Mayweather really not fight?
154 Cotto ain't nothing for me. No disrespect to Miguel Cotto, 147 Hall of Famer. But I think Cotto was very lackluster, maybe an average fighter at 154.
Well, I just feel like they
so
not
Lucas is giving Canelo
shit. Up. I just feel like they're not like him and Amir Khan. They're like, the classic 147 pounder with their body and their physiques. Yeah. For them to be up at 154 at that time, because that was, what was it, 155 actually? So,
yeah.
He have his catch weight. But, I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's just not.
So
I'm not going to put that on my array of names that I think that, make Canelo solid at that time. I feel like you at least need to fight people that's your own, weight or bigger in order to
So
hold on, John. That's why Canelo's got to fight Benavidez. But who knows? I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, that would be a great fight. And I believe
am I hearing this correctly, Lucas? You shit on Canelo for moving up in weight, but then Cotto ain't shit because he moved up in weight and couldn't hack it?
I don't think he did hack it at 154. He didn't prove nothing to be at 154. What did he do for you, bro?
That's what I'm saying, though. So why is one fighter shit because he couldn't hack it for moving up, trying to take the harder road, but because Canelo does it and does it with ease, he ain't shit.
Does it with ease? What do you mean by that?
He's dominating this division.
That's what happens when you fight people that are not up to your competition. Up to your level.
Well, what's his weight? That's the part of the problem. This man made his own weight for quite a while. What is his weight? Look, the way he toys with weight divisions is not normal. We can all agree that. We ain't seen nobody really fight at 155, right? They could choose and pick from 160 to 168 and then go up to 170. I mean, come on now.
I mean, I just feel the night of the fight, he's never in that particular weight range, that whatever it was on the scale. I don't have a problem with him moving up in weights classes. I just feel that if you're going to do that, make it count. Give us some substance. Make it
but it's always
gonna win.
It's always been to his advantage though because he rehydrates so well.
He's in there. He's like a good 12 pounds, 13
pounds. He's a light heavyweight.
At night of the fight. So I mean, literally, if you make the weight, you're okay. If you want to move up in weight classes, that's fine with me also. My problem is make it count. If you're gonna move up in weight and you're gonna take these chances, make it the best fight you can, and make it a situation where people are gonna remember and talk about that damn fight. Like, damn, he did his shit on that fight. I mean, he made him look like
Shakur.
But he just beat the one.
Hold on. Okay, Shakur.
No, that was
then,
not okay.
Okay, Shakur, then take the money I give you. Take the money I give you.
No, absolutely not.
So see, then go ahead, Malcolm. Go ahead. I can't talk right now.
Because they keep saying, she said like go up there and make it count. How do you make it count any more than going up to 168 after? Well, I guess you drop down from 175, but you go back to 168 and you beat the lineal champion. How do you make it count any more than that?
The lineal champion is Groves. Do you feel
the lineal champion was Callum Smith.
Oh. Right, but
Callum
he
Smith
said that he only beat
Who did Caleb Smith beat?
He won the Super Six.
That's what I'm talking about. Groves.
Right.
Nobody else, really. Groves. That's it.
Besides him, is what I'm saying.
Nobody came out of Super Six.
But y'all are arguing.
What I'm saying is he wasn't legitimate. Okay, well, you get what I'm saying.
What you're arguing, though, to my point is if he can make it count. These guys got to take what they can get. Accept the money.
That don't work that way. I don't have to lessen my value because you want to fight me. I'm gonna maximize my purse for my family, just like he want to maximize his purse for his family. There's enough money for everybody to eat.
Look, everybody knows Canelo's the A side, but there is a point where an offer is like a spit in your face. You're gonna take this less money. You're gonna take this short notice, and you're gonna shut the hell up. That's what it comes across as. You're going to give the crumbs I give you, and then you're like, man, I cannot fight you. I can still have a career without you.
Beat him.
Yeah.
Beat him.
Rob, you saying some shit that you would not do, okay?
You're
backing it just to back it, because you know damn well you'd be like,
hold on, let me defend that, Malachi. If I was in the fight game, I'd be Floyd Mayweather Jr. I call the shots, okay? God. Sorry, go ahead, Malachi.
Tap your slice.
But bring it up. I'm glad you brought up Floyd because Floyd took he took everything that Oscar gave him to get the Oscar fight because he knew if he wins that Oscar fight, now he becomes the cash cow, and that's what we saw happen. So Oscar got all the concessions in that fight. Floyd takes it anyway. Floyd wins the fight, and then he goes on to become the cash cow. If you're sick of Canelo, if all these fighters are sick of Canelo and the way Canelo does business, beat him.
We're not
beat him.
Compare
take it away from him.
Because guess what? After he fought Oscar, he went on and had some legitimately tough, good fights. What we seen with Canelo is once he got to the cash cow level, we're seeing a decline in the competition, dog, right away.
Danny Jacobs. Where do you beat Danny Jacobs? Danny Jacobs. You beat Danny Jacobs.
What about him?
Beat the undefeated 168 little champion. He fought fucking Triple G.
How did he behave in the but how was his performance in the ring? What about him?
He made Danny Jacobs fight like that. Danny Jacobs didn't have no choice.
Everybody is not making that. No, stop it.
He did.
Stop it. I mean, look, every time you bring this shit up with a Canelo fan, a diehard Canelo fan, let me say it like that, this is their comeback. Oh, but he made him look like that. No, not if you really ain't trying. You got to try first, and then Canelo try to do something to you to make you look like that. Like, these people are not trying to do something first. How y'all like my little fake game? And so
look,
and they trying to like do something, then Canelo can force them to not do something. That's not what we seeing. When we see him in the ring with
they scared to throw punches because Canelo gonna counter them.
Nothing. There's nothing. It's a big fat nothing burger. That's not what we want to see.
He's got some good fights on his resume. You know, he's got Golovkin and Jacobs and so forth. There's a lot of good fights there. There's no question about it. There's just a lot of shake in there that he's beaten, and I think that Yildrim is one of those. And the one thing that I see in this fight is that Yildrim's a bigger cat. If you look at the fight with, let's say, Liam Smith, that was 154, and Canelo shows up into the, fight night. He's, I don't know, 160, 65. Who knows how big he was? He was twice as big as Liam Smith. Twice as big as his older brother too. In his last fight.
Which is
he's
dangerous.
always,
Yeah, dangerous.
He's always had that weight disparity in his favor. In this particular fight against Yildrim, you don't have that. I think Yildrim's probably going to outweigh him.
Well,
I think he might.
We don't know how.
But I mean, like even Kovalev, he was a lot bigger than Kovalev. I saw him side by side. Kovalev, it seemed like he was right around 175, 180. Canelo looked a lot bigger.
Yeah,
I mean, go back and look at that fight. Go back and look at it.
And this is the trivial pursuit of all Canelo haters right here. He's bigger than everybody. Oh, if he does finally fight Charlo, Charlo had to go up to 168. He's bigger than Charlo. Look, if he does fight Andre and beat Andre, but who is Andre though? He was a bum. He ain't fought nobody. And on and on and on and on.
Look, in some cases you're right. In this case, no. Look, every time I mentioned earlier, right, when he steps up, they're great fights, right? Every time he steps up and he has those matchups against the Trout, against Lara, against Golovkin, against Jacobs, what all those have in common too? They were all close fights. He don't dominate any of them. He don't knock out any of them. He is a great fighter to be able to hang in the ring and actually compete. I have the Golovkin fights a little differently. Me and Malachi don't see eye to eye on those. There's a lot of people that believe Golovkin won. A lot of ringside media believe that Golovkin won those fights. This is a reoccurring thing is we see him struggle against the upper competition, and we want to see those fights because, you know, there's question marks. Every time he's in the ring, it's a question mark. You leave a question mark. A lot of people think Lara's a loss. Trout was up there. It was pretty close. Golovkin, at least the first fight, was pretty unanimous. So, I mean, Jacobs just fought him really close. It was a great fight. So, every time that happens, we all just wondering. And then, you know, he doesn't really want to seem to revisit those either. I'll give it to Mayweather. If somebody fought him close, Maidana, he went back and rematched him and showed, I'm better than you. He did that against Golovkin, but he's yet to do that against anyone else.
Well,
I see it as a 1-1.
That is 100% true, but I do hope Yildrim is able to show us fans something to make us want to like follow him from then on. Like, you know, really him maximizing his opportunity to Saturday night.
And honestly, all he has to do is look good. That's all he has to do, and I think he knows that. I mean, he just needs to win some fans. James, you were saying you basically think it's 1-1?
Yeah, Canelo, Golovkin, it's 1-1. I mean, we should see a trilogy there. I doubt we will now. But I'd love to see Big Charlo rather, step up into 168, beat somebody, take a belt, and make a stand there. To me, Big Charlo versus... If he had a belt, that'd be great. He doesn't have to have one. I just, you know, it's just how it works. Doesn't have to have a belt, not by any means, but
he needed a belt for the middleweight division in order for him to get the Canelo fight, and then Canelo hurry up and like was on to the next division.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see if that's something that we see a repeat of. And then Malachi, at that point, it's not gonna be no question marks with me and Canelo. I am gonna be no to Canelo. If he moves up after Charlo gets and moves up to 168, I'm gonna be like, this is some serious BS.
I would agree with you. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't. If Canelo, I'm the only reason that I say some of the things I do about Canelo. Some of it is just to mess with you guys, but I agree. He needs to fight Charlo, but at the same time, Charlo's got to make it worth Canelo's time.
I agree with
that. And that may be taking a pay cut.
Yeah, but we don't know how much he offered him. I mean, like I said, obviously, any fight right now, I will give that. Canelo's going to be the A side. I don't think there's another fighter. Mm-hmm. Even if Mayweather comes back at this point, I don't think it would be believable of a fight anyway, because Canelo would be so big at this point, he would just, you know, it wouldn't even be a match. So I don't think it's even a possibility, but there literally can't be anybody else bigger at this point. He's going to be the A side. You have to succeed that. So, I mean, at the best, you're taking a 60-40, but I don't even think it's going to be close. I mean, you're looking at a 70-30 pretty much split for Charlo.
Well, guys, that is all the topics I have. We pretty much are at our time frame. Anybody got any last words? Or wait, tweet of the week, right?
Yeah, we almost forgot about that. Yeah, let's go tweet of the week real quick.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I know we did a lot of talk about 168, but there was some news from the lightweight division. Basically, we got Devin Haney, and you know how people have been saying, oh, he's avoided at lightweight. Nobody wants to fight him. Everybody's going around Devin Haney. Well, we got two boxers that's saying, hey, sign me up. He says, Fortuna can get it too. Funny how he's coming around, and after it came out, we were in negotiations with Linares. So we got Linares and we got some Fortuna action. Let's see which one of these fights can be made. And if it does happen that he fights, I don't know, Linares, do you guys give Linares a chance of winning against the Devin Haney?
I think I give Linares a better chance than Fortuna.
I'm the opposite. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was going to take the opposite as well. I like Fortuna much better in that fight than I do Linares. But I think either one of them will be more than enough for Haney. I mean, he looked spectacular boxing versus Gamboa, but there was like, why couldn't he got Gamboa out of there? Because that's not the Gamboa that hurt Terrence Crawford at all. So I can see why there was some criticism there from some people. Me personally, I like the sweet science. So watching him outbox him and outclass him was very nice. But that's going to be a different story, especially if he steps in with Javier Fortuna. That's going to be a very, very good fight, very technical. And I think Fortuna could give him some real issues.
No. I like to see Linares. I just like his style. I like him. The guy's just a beautiful boxer. Really? Yeah. Linares versus anybody. Anyone.
Yeah. I mean, Linares just got the experience for me. Fortuna loses his step-up fights. I think Fortuna loses his step-up fights. I think Linares would be a better competition. That's just me, though. I think it's mainly based on experience.
I'm sorry, Lucas.
No, go ahead.
I do feel like Fortuna actually won that Easter fight that time, though. But at the same time,
it was close.
My thing about the two of them is Linares, he will be coming back right off of his illness with COVID. So I'm like questioning whether or not he should go right in here and deal with a Devin Haney without some type of tune-up. So that's my only concern with that if they go that route.
I like Fortuna. Number one, Lucas, I think it's more of a step up for Devin Haney, not Fortuna. Fortuna has been in these situations before. Haney has not.
Right, but he loses.
Two, Linares is up there in age, and he's coming off of a bout with COVID, and he even contemplated retirement previously. I think I just like to see, I like to see Fortuna get his shot at the kid and see what this kid can really do. Now, both of them would be a step up, so either one would be fine. I would just favor Fortuna over Linares.
Okay.
It'll just be good to see that awkward style against Devin Haney and how he handles that, because he hasn't really fought anybody that has an awkward style the way that Fortuna does. So I would just like to see, the strategy and how he's able to really deal with that. But then with Linares, he is, as James said, a beautiful boxer. And, if you don't catch him in the body, it's kind of hard to get rid of him. So, I mean, that's also a very good fight.
And on that same Canelo card, it's Julio Cesar Martinez, flyweight champ, versus McWilliams Arroyo. So that could be a pretty good scrap.
Oh, yeah. That'd be entertaining.
Except it's a flyweight.
Yeah.
Don't get him started on the waist. We ain't doing that tonight.
But Martinez fights like a devil.
That he does.
All right, guys, that's all I had for tonight. Definitely appreciate you. Just gotta show this real quick.
Oh my God, put that shit down.
Yay!
All right.
Tampa Bay all day.
All right, y'all.
Where is that? Where is that logo? There it is. That's the one. That is it. Boo!
So this is your heavy bag boxing team. I'm your host, Robert Alexander. For Lucas Biggers, Shakura Armstrong, James, Malachi with Danger Zone Boxing. Malachi, what days can they catch you on?
Friday nights.
Friday nights.
10 p.m. We moved up to 10 p.m. So, yeah.
10 p.m. Friday nights.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. I appreciate you guys having me on. Got to get you guys back on ours as well. So.
Yeah, always fun having you.
Invitation. Yes, sir. It's great being here. I figured tonight I contacted him because I was like, I knew Canelo's fighting this weekend.
Yeah, we got to have you whenever Canelo's in there, you know.
Canelo needs some support over here in this game like this.
Yeah, Rob was trying tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Nice, y'all.
All right, good night, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in.